Okay, let's dive into a thought experiment that might just stretch the fabric of your reality. We're going to explore a really simple but profound question. What if you could actually feel that tiny microscopic trembling that underpins, well, everything in the universe?
So just imagine for a second. What if your senses suddenly became, I don't know, permeable to the most fundamental layer of existence? You can't see it, you can't hear it, but you can feel it as a direct sensation. I mean, what would that even be like? All right, so what are we even talking about here? Well, at its core, quantum fluctuations are these constant, tiny vibrations of energy. They happen everywhere, all the time, even in what we think of as totally empty space. It's kind of like the universe's background hum, right? This ceaseless dance of particles just winking in and out of existence. Now, normally we are completely oblivious to this, but in our thought experiment, well, not anymore.
So, our journey begins at that exact moment this new sense awakens. And let me tell you, this is where the world as you know it really starts to, well, dissolve.
Okay, so the very first thing you'd notice is that nothing, and I mean nothing, is truly solid. That desk in front of you, the floor beneath your feet, suddenly everything would feel alive with this subtle, shimmering instability. It's not a vibration you can hear, it's more like a feeling of reality itself just softly flickering, almost breathing with probability. And see, this new perception wouldn't just be some extra layer on top of your existing senses. No, it would completely remap them. So let's start with two of the most fundamental ones, right? Touch and sound. Think about it. This totally reframes what it means to touch something. What we call solid, it's really just the repulsion between invisible fields of energy. You know, the electrons in your hand pushing against the electrons in the table. With this new sense, you would feel that force directly, not as hardness, but as this incredible dynamic tension, almost like a dance of fields pushing back against you. And silence? Forget about it. It would just cease to exist. Even if you were in a perfectly soundproof room, you'd perceive this full, textured hum. It's the background noise of reality itself, the vibration of space. And you wouldn't feel it with your ears, you'd feel it with your entire being. So naturally, the boundary between you and the world would start to blur. Your own body would feel less like a solid object and way more like a temporary pattern, just a ripple in a vast cosmic field. You'd get this feeling of buoyancy, almost, like you're being gently held within this dynamic, shifting weave of existence. Okay, but this whole perceptual shift, it doesn't just stop at your outer senses. Oh no, it goes deeper. It would fundamentally change your entire internal experience. Your sense of self, how you experience time, and yeah, even your emotions. I mean, think about it. If the boundary between your body and the world dissolves, what happens to your ego? That deeply ingrained idea of being a separate me trapped inside a body, well, it would start to feel like a construct, maybe even an illusion. You'd probably feel way more like a ripple in a vast ocean of awareness. And time itself, wow, that would feel completely different. Instead of a straight line, past, present, future, you might experience it as something layered and textured. The present moment would feel incredibly deep. The past wouldn't feel so gone. And the future would feel much closer, more immediate. It would all just be part of one single ongoing process of unfolding. This also suggests that our emotions would totally transform. They'd become a kind of energetic literacy. Joy might literally feel like your own energy resonating in harmony with the field all around you, a feeling of expansion. And sadness? Well, that might feel like a contraction, a kind of turbulence or interference in that beautiful flow. All right, so let's zoom out. What if everyone had this ability? I mean, the implications are absolutely staggering. This isn't just a personal transformation anymore. This would reshape human society from the ground up. Okay, let's break this down a bit. Take empathy. It would no longer be something you choose to practice. It would be a direct perceptual fact. You would literally feel the emotional state of the people around you. And science? It would get a whole new tool, direct experiential insight to go along with its equations. And philosophy? Its biggest questions might shift from being intellectual puzzles to things you could actually observe directly. Wild, right? Of course, creativity would just explode in brand new ways. Art would probably move away from trying to depict solid objects and instead focus on expressing the textures of this fluid reality. Just imagine music composed to harmonize with that quantum hum, or a dance that physically expresses the body's flow within the field. It'd be incredible. But of course, it wouldn't all be a simple utopia. I mean, come on, this new reality would definitely come with its own profound set of challenges. Just the sheer intensity could be overwhelming. Seriously, how do you focus on a single task when you feel the entire universe vibrating through you? People would need to develop totally new mental disciplines, new kinds of filters, just to get through daily life without getting completely lost in an ocean of sensation. But if we could master this perception, if we could learn to navigate it, well, it would lead to a final profound understanding of our place in the cosmos. You know, all those mystical concepts you hear about, oneness, universal consciousness, they would stop being abstract metaphors. They would become simple, straightforward descriptions of direct perception. The sacred wouldn't be something separate from the world. It would just be the world. And this all leads to a final, truly transformative realization. You would understand in a way that goes way beyond just intellectual belief that you are not just a passive observer. You're not just looking at the universe from the outside. You are an active, integral part of reality as it unfolds. In a way, you are the universe experiencing itself. And that leaves us with one final question to ponder. If you could really feel reality this way, who or what would you become?